but I just want to make sure it's nice and bright. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to switch to my brush tool, just cheat the last little bit here, going right into his mouth, and with an eraser, just go over the spot that hit his lips. So now we have a little bit more fluid going down the old pipe here. And the next step, after flattening those layers together, would be to start to not only fill his mouth with some whiteness, some glow from this glowing liquid, but also begin to fill a few areas on his face and hands and arm that would also be affected by the yellow glowing vial as well. So the quickest way to do this, just because there's so much skin here that needs to be filled, is I'm just going to go to the gulp layer, and just before I select anything or do anything color-wise, I'm just going to increase the curves here and just add a little bit of contrast. And what that'll do is help accentuate some of the shadows. We already have a directional light that's coming from this direction, so I'm going to key off that light, key off the contrast that's already within the image with a little bit of added contrast there. And now I'm just going to duplicate the layer, and I'm going to colorize this entire layer. And I will do that a nice bright yellow color. And now with the eraser tool, making a nice generous brush. That looks about good with the 35% opacity. I don't want to take away all the yellow in one swoop. I want to be able to take a few passes at it. I want to be able to leave a little bit of that yellow color behind. And I'm just going to work through some of his features, some of Merrick's features here, and remove the color where the shine from the vial wouldn't hit naturally. So, you know, all the color on the back of his head obviously wouldn't be lit up unless he's standing in a room full of mirrors. And some of the neck, remove some of that and reveal a bit more of his natural skin tone. Same as by the nose, a little bit there. And maybe on his brows a little too. And I'll do the same for his hands, just sort of remove some of this color that's lighting up the arms where it probably wouldn't be lit up. Same as on the tops of the knuckles, because we're imagining that our lightest source is coming from the liquid. So now that we've removed some of this color, what we want to do is blend it in a little bit better, because right now it's looking like he's wearing clown makeup or something. And the best way we can do that is go to an overlay layer, and it'll sort of make it look a little bit more naturally lit. Now, obviously we have a lot of oranges because the yellow is blending with his natural skin color. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to our hue controls here, our hue and saturation, and I'm just going to push the yellow a little bit closer to the green, and that'll sort of give us more of that yellow hue back. And then what I'll do is reduce the opacity slightly, just so it looks a lot more natural. So we get a hint of this yellow tone and this yellow shine reflecting on his face a little bit more naturally than it would otherwise. And of course, if we want to go back to the hue and saturation, we could try and bump this up with our saturation and make it very bright. This is also where you would want to change the color if you wanted to change the color of your liquid. But I like it yellow for this, so I'm going to leave it there. And reduce the saturation just a little bit, or sorry, the opacity just a little bit, till I get a nice natural looking glow.